Hi there, I'm Tom Paper, and I want to welcome you to History 23, Maps, Past, Present, and Future. Super excited to be teaching this class for the third year and to meet each of you. So I want to jump into the syllabus and share with you Pixeum, which is the tool we're going to be using for the class, for sharing, for looking at images and curating images. This is the syllabus. I'll give you a link to this. It's a Google Doc. And I hope that out of this class, that you become more critical consumers of maps and information visualizations, both historic and modern day, that you unleash your curiosity. Life is a beautiful thing, and the ability to explore in your own mind on your terms of what's of interest to you is a wonderful thing. I didn't major in history. I probably should have, but later in life, I just love learning about history and art and the history of science. So I hope to help you pursue things that you're interested in by asking questions. I want to teach you how to politely interrupt, and also, ask a lot of questions. That means not only to yourself, but also to, in class, to others, to speakers, to me, to your classmates. I want to teach you how to politely interrupt. I think it's a good skill to have. And then I want to help you develop your ability to make presentations. The course requirements: attending 10 of 12 classes, watching all the assigned videos, completing the 2 projects, that's what we're going to talk about here, having coffee with me. You can do that. Historically, I've done it one-on-one. This year, I've decided if you want to do it in pairs or groups of 3, that's fine. And then providing feedback about the course. There's 2 books that are optional. 4 of the videos you're going to watch is sort of a summary of this book. This book here is Modern Day Maps by a company called Esri. Got a bunch of links here, and then each day is spelled out in terms of what's going to happen, any assignments, and the speakers. We've got at least 1 speaker every single day, and in many cases 2. We've also got some visits to special collections that are going to be a lot of fun. So this is the gateway for the class. Okay, so let's jump into the first 2 projects. And by the way, the first project is due in the 2nd week, and you're going to sign up for a slot on either the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of the 2nd week to give your talk or make your presentation. And that is, let's see, it's this document here. And so I've got both signups for having coffee with me and signups for doing your presentation. So again, presentations will be the 2nd week and the 4th week. The only thing that's due for the first class is to watch this video, and there's going to be another video on the rubric for the class. So that's the assignment for the first class. Okay, so there's 2 projects. Sorry, there is one other thing to do before the first class, and that's to register for Pixeum, and we're going to go over that right now. So 2 projects. Doing project 1 means first registering for Pixeum, and then once you've registered, you want to email me and tell me you're now a curator. The registration process is pretty straightforward. You're going to click on this link, and then you're going to log in with a username. Hold on, we'll do this real quick here. It's probably, yeah, I'm already logged in, so let me log out. I'm going to do an abbreviated version of the registration process. So you would come here and you would I think you're going to be creating a new account. And so you need a username, 10 characters, no spaces, then a display name. You can have spaces. Username is 10 max. Put in your email and your password, click create account. You're going to get an email, look to your junk folder, and once you confirm that, you're going to be registered. So that's that. Let me go back and log in now as my normal login as the admin. So register, once you're registered, email me, and then I'm going to make you a curator of 2 exhibits for the class. So the first one is where our projects will go. And the second exhibit is what I call our playground. And we'll be working with this in a few exercises and assignments at the end of the first week and during the third week. I'm going to show you just to get a feel for it. So this is the first year's projects from the students, and this is the second year's projects from the students. Let's look at the second year. This is project 1. This was a sample that I did, but these are some of the other maps, and you can see who did these maps: Ortiva, Barrett Heritage, Jeff Souza. All right, so we're going to talk about, this was project 1, and project 2 is the modern day map. So those are the 2 projects, an old map and a modern day map. And I can show you these in class if you want to look at them any more fully. So I'm going to go back here to the process for the project. So I'll make you a curator, in which case you can upload images and curate images. And the project 1 essentially is to find a map, put it on Pixeum, curate the map into something I call a dot story. I'm going to show you how to do this, and then present that dot story at class. Now, how are you going to find a map? Well, you can think about it this way. There's a whole bunch of sources out there. Let's do that. We're going to look at the sources here now real quick. So Boston Public Library, the David Rumsey Map Center. David Rumsey is one of the oracles of the antique map world. He's given digitized and given 130,000 maps to Stanford, and he has a library within the library at Stanford. I'm going to go over this site first. So you can search for things here. I'm going to search Williamstown, Massachusetts, and see what we get. And we get this image here. When you want this image, if this is the image that you want, you click on the export button in the upper right and choose the extra large. And that'll give you a JPEG. You're going to have to unzip a folder, but it's pretty straight ahead. And then I'm going to show you how to upload it to Pixeum. So that's David Rumsey. Let's look at Library of Congress. They've got an amazing collection. Let's look at Panoramic Massachusetts. I know this is here. Hopefully it pops up. There's a whole bunch of panoramic maps on the site. Don't think there's Williamstown, but we got Boston from 1880. Let's look at that. And what I want to show you is here on the Library of Congress site. You can either take this JPEG in the largest size you get, or you can take a JPEG 2000. If you take this one, and I probably would, it turns into a PDF. You have to open it up as a PDF and then save it as a JPEG. The only things that you can load to Pixeum are JPEGs and PNG files, and JPEGs are preferred. Okay, so that's Library of Congress. The New York Public Library has some amazing maps. we'll take a look at one of them here. I think the downloading is pretty straight ahead. Yeah, so you want to take, in this case, the original. Here's your download option. Take the biggest that you can get. You'll be glad that you have the resolution. Okay, so we've sort of gone over the images that you're looking for. You need to download it. You need to go to the exhibit, our exhibit, which is 646. And when you load the exhibit on a laptop, you can do this on your phone, a little easier on your laptop. You'll see this button down here called Fill. So you're going to go to the Fill button, and then you're going to find your image. I loaded this one yesterday. I'm going to do it again, the same thing. Okay. Now, in the title's the thing. They automatically date and timestamp the image title and the image description. It automatically is going to go to the right exhibit. You don't need to worry about these two other fields. Okay, the title is the one where you should write it in this format, and I've got it here. The name of the map, the cartographer, if you know it, the year published, and your name. So let's go back here, and we're going to say Vienna cartographer. I don't know who it is. I think it's 17th century Tom paper. And then the description is open text for possible curation. I'm going to save this thing. So you can see it's happening. We're uploading. It's making a thumbnail. It's tiling it now, which allows for the fast zooming. Let's go look at the exhibit. So this is what I just uploaded. And the beauty of this is that you can now zoom in fast and see things really quickly. Okay, so we've now uploaded, and now it's time to curate the map, which basically means telling a story. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to make a dot story for your map. And I'm going to show you how to make 3 dots on a map. Each dot should have a voice note and text on it. Again, I'll show you how to do it. You can add links and other images if you want. The total time of it should be 2 to 3 minutes, at a minimum 3 dots, but I think you can do a lot more than that and still make it in 3 minutes. But again, it's about the story. What are you trying to tell about this map? And that's where a lot of the thinking goes in. Okay, so, and we're going to talk about the rubric here in a minute. So I'm going to take the map that we've got here, and I'm going to put 3 dots on it. So this is a map of Vienna by the SDUK, which was an innovative cultural education in the 19th century. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to put the dot on the map. Okay, I'm going to submit it, and now that dot exists. Now I want to add the voice note to it. So I'm going to go down here in the lower left. I'm going to click on this button, and I'm going to record. And when I record, I'm going to want to click on the dot so I can see the text of the dot. I'm basically going to read it. Okay, so here we go. I click on the dot over in the left. This is a map of Vienna by the SDUK, the Society for the Diffusion of Useful Knowledge, which was an innovative cultural education in the 19th century. So now I turn it off, and I got to go make sure that, okay, there, the dot's there. Sometimes you got to wait for this. I'm going to save and close. All right, now I'm going to add another one. Okay, I got to close red X out on the left here because I'm going to add another dot. This is St. Stephen's Place, home of the Dom Kirch Cathedral. Okay, and I'm going to put a dot here. I'm going to submit. Now I'm going to add a voice note to it. And how do I do that? I click on the dot. I'm going to go in the lower right here. I'm going to edit it. And now I'm going to start a voice note. Here we go. I'm going to click on the dot. This is St. Stephen's Place, home of the Domkirch Cathedral. I'm going to go down here. It's taken, so that's great. Sometimes, again, you'll see a little working symbol where the trash can is. Okay, that's the second dot. We got one more to go. I want to do this one down here. Okay, this is the map engages viewers by showing elevations of key buildings. Here we have the Domkirch Cathedral in St. Stephen's Place. Okay, so now I'm going to put a dot here and hit submit. And now I'm going to make the voice note. So I'm going to click on it, edit it, and now we're going to click on the start recording. Click on it again. The map engages viewers by showing elevations of key buildings. Here we have the Domkirch Cathedral in St. Stephen's Place. Okay, click update. All right, so now I've got 3 dots and each dot has a voice note on it. And now I'm going to make a dot story. So right here on the left, create dot story. I'm going to call this Tom's story. I did one yesterday, but I'm going to do this one. I'll do another one today. Okay, so I'm going to add dot 1. I'm going to add dot 2. I'm going to add dot 3. Now I got to come back up here and we're going to do a little placement of each dot in the story. So I'm going to set dot 1. And the zoom in position, I'm going to leave it like this because it's the intro. So I'm going to leave it wide angle. The first dot, it's probably good to leave it wide angle if you're going to tell this, the general gist of the story you're going to tell. So now I set the zoom in position and I got to click on autoplay. Now for dot 2, I'm going to click set. I'm going to zoom in. You'll see how this works in a second. I'm going to set the zoom that way and autoplay the voice note. And now we're going to go for the last dot. Okay. And now I'm going to set this dot. I'm going to set the zoom in position and I'm going to autoplay the voice note. Okay, now I'm going to save it. That's done. All right, now I'm going to refresh the whole thing. Go to the second one, because that's the one I just made. I'm going to open up the dots on the left, and I'm going to, here it is. This is the dot story. I'm going to play this. It's 42 seconds long. So you can now see how long your presentation is going to be. Okay. So I'm going to click on this, and we're going to go. I click on the dot. Hear my voice. This is a map of Vienna by the SDUK, the Society for the Diffusion of Useful Knowledge, which was an innovative cultural education in the 19th century. So now I'm going to click at the bottom. We're in every step has an A step and a B step. Here we're at 2A, where it's fully zoomed out, and it tells you on the left where we are in the story. And now I'm going to click on it again, and I'm at 2B. Click on the dot. This is St. Stephen's Place, home of the Domkirch Cathedral. I'm going to click again. We're on 3A, and now we're 3B. Click on it again. The map engages viewers by showing elevations of key buildings. Here we have the Domkirch Cathedral in St. Stephen's Place. Click on it again, and we're done. So I'm going to explain some of the buttons here. The ones on the right, I think, are self-explanatory. Zoom in, zoom out. You can also do it with the left click and right click. You can rotate things. Just be careful. If you rotate something and move to the next image, that image is going to be rotated too. So before you leave the image, make sure the rotate is where you want it. You can full screen things or not. You can hide all the buttons or not. And then on the left side, these two buttons are probably the most important. The dots, you want to see all your dots, click on the dot button, turn them off. And then you want to see the image text. This is general information about the image as a whole. That's this button here. You can screen save if you want and run through a whole exhibit, and then you can go back to the grid to see where you're at. And again, putting your name and title the way that I've requested will make things a lot easier for everyone to see whose image is whose and what the general information is about that. Okay, so we've shown you the dot story. Yeah, how do you find a map that's of interest to you? Explore what it is that you find of interest, whether it's by time period, by type of map. We'll be talking about these in class. Is it a mimetic or conceptual map? So what's the level of abstraction? What's the geography? And hey, people have found maps of where they live is often a map that somebody wants to explore, and that's great. Lots of historical maps, and you can find your, in many cases, your address from 100 or more years ago. The rubric this is a rubric that's available for that I've come up with for thinking about images, historical maps in particular. And I'm going to go over this real quickly, and then we're going to do more on this in the next video. So I'm going to go over the short version real quickly. The rubric is QLS-EDI, and it's just a rubric for thinking about maps. So the Q used to be just one Q, and that Q represented what question is the map trying to answer. But I've added to that now 3 other important questions. Who made it? Who was the cartographer? That's who made it. Who paid for it? And again, you may not know these, but it's questions worth asking. And then what audience are we targeting? The logic employed in the map is generally the projection. And we'll talk about map projections. It's this idea of taking something that's 3-dimensional and mapping it, placing the abstraction onto 2 dimensions. And that logic is guaranteed to be imperfect. You can't, and those of you who study math can prove this, but you can't have a perfect representation of a 3D thing in 2D. And so you're giving up either shape, the shape of things, or the relative size of things. What's the system for getting data for the map? And then how was estimation used to make the map, or was it speculation? What's the design of the map? And then how has the map been iterated upon? This is Williamstown. And the key thing this is answering is who owns which land. We're going to talk about this in class, a modern day version of this, which is pretty cool. This map, it's a strip map from the 18th century. It's answering the question, how do I get from here to there? This is an example of speculation and not estimation. This is an iteration example, 2 maps of the Northeast. And you can click, by the way, on these images and then go to the image. And this is Philadelphia, and the Schuylkill is right here. There's no Philadelphia, which is kind of interesting given that New York was on the map at the time. But later, Philadelphia gets onto the next version of it, which is here. This is about the key point of this map is about the system of collecting the data using a process called echo sounding. It's a map of the ocean floor from 1977. This is a map that's about design. We're going to talk about it in one of our lectures. So that's that. I think the other thing I want to cover here is the second project. So the second project is a modern day map. And in many cases, this is again from the 2 prior years examples of what people did. If you want to make a map, you can do that. Corey Campbell, who works for Williams in academic technology, can help with that. We've also got some guidelines for it. And I've got somebody who works for my consulting firm, William Blomstead, who's going to be a speaker, and he can help you with that. Evan Applegate, one of our speakers, is going to talk about, he's going to encourage you to make maps, but you don't have to. If you want to just find a modern day map, you can upload a screenshot of that and then put the title in the same way and then curate your map. Now, you don't have to do a dot story here. You can, if you want, for your second map, use the image text and write down what you're going to talk about. But I need you to prepare your talk. We have a lot of people who go to 5 minutes easy, and I don't think that they have done a dry run. And part of giving a good presentation is doing a dry run. Okay, so I want to show you some examples of the modern day map. There's one that I wanted to try to find. Let's see if we can get it quickly. Here we go. So this is a screenshot of satellites, a map of all the satellites, and the way that Jeff curated this, he did write out, he went through the QLS EDI, you can see on the left here, he's writing those things out, but then he gave us the link to go to the site. He also did add dots. This is what makes it really cool, is that now we can go play around and look at this in class. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to cover. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me anytime. And yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you and getting started. Okay, thank you.